we engaged DJ Shauna from the Milwaukee Bucks. And we brought her down there, and she, with a video backdrop, got on stage and talked about how dynamic Milwaukee is. And I have to tell you, we turned all the lights down. We gave everyone green glow sticks. I introduced DJ Shauna as the one and only DJ, official DJ of the 2021 NBA Championship Milwaukee Bucks, and the crowd went wild. They had never seen a presentation like we gave.
Hi, this is Bob Weiss. I'm the host of Shaking Your World. Cheers.
Folks, welcome home. Yet another edition of Shaking Your World. Here we are at the magnificent Shakers in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And we have with us the biggest cheerleader for the city of Milwaukee. Peggy is here from VISIT Milwaukee, and we'll be talking about Milwaukee. So Peggy, welcome home. Great to have you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for taking the time out.
Happy to be here.
I know how busy you are. So Milwaukee, great place on a great lake, and it certainly is that. Of all the things I've done in my career, I keep coming back here. This Shakers is the genesis for everything for me, and I could not be happier. The people are extraordinary here. We have so many things. Let's talk about those.
Let's talk about those things. Milwaukee is an extraordinary place. And I think you just went through 3 of the last logo taglines that the city had. But it's a fantastic place. I am so fortunate to be able to lead VISIT Milwaukee and to be able to introduce people to the city that I grew up in and that I love from the bottom of my heart. And I get to lead a team of passionate people who feel the exact same way. And then when we talk to our partners, it makes it even harder not to be able to extol the virtues from the top of our lungs, because partners such as yourself just love what they do and they love telling people how great Milwaukee is.
Well, frankly, it's much easier to do that in Milwaukee than in other places and operations I have, because the people that work in Milwaukee, the people that live in Milwaukee, Milwaukeeans, are genuine people. And that is something that people get, and they walk in our doors, and for 35 years, over half our clientele is from somewhere else, and they come here and they get these great receptions, and it's a genuine reception from Milwaukeeans that really care about what they're doing and where they are and how they're doing it, and the city. And it's a very unique thing, even compared to other parts of the Midwest. And and that has to make your job easier all by itself.
It does make my job easier. You know, when I got to VISIT Milwaukee, we were looking at some new ad campaigns. And as you know, the DNC was slated to come here. So we were working on some commercials in case we got the opportunity to be on the world stage. And the 2 concepts that we kept coming up with was how unique Milwaukee is, filled with amazing spots like Shakers, and that we were powered by the people. Because 9 out of 10 times when we get a survey back, what we get from the customers who come here from a meetings and conventions perspective, or when we see what people leisure say about us, they just say that the people are so nice. They're so authentic. They're so genuine. They have a need to want to be of service to people. I say it's the heart of hospitality, and we truly are a town that is filled with people who have the heart of hospitality.
So, you know, obviously there was a significant influx of people from really Central Europe. So you got Germanic, you got Poles, and that then went into the Greeks, the Italians, everything else. But you got people that really identified solidly with a European background that came here and were responsible for, well, forming the city, building the city. The French, obviously, before that, with the fur industry. So how do you make that association? Why do you think that Milwaukee has this real coolness going on that other places just don't grasp?
Well, I think that we embrace our history, but we also look for ways to distinguish ourselves and distinguish ourselves from some of that history, right? I mean, I think those are all important things when you talk about how you market a city and how you talk about the genesis of that city. So, you know, to give you an example, we were just at a pre-promote for a convention that's coming here next year, American Legion. The last time they were here was 2010. And they wanted to know a few things. They wanted to know, and mind you, this audience is a little older, but they wanted to know if Mater's was still here. They wanted to know if the Steakhouse and the Safe House and Shakers were still here. There were 3 things that they wanted to know about every time they talked. So we embrace those things when we're talking to those people. But I also think that there are times when we have to embrace the other sides of Milwaukee. We were just in a meeting with a potential marketing firm who was here, and they had never been here before, and they talked about our public art and how amazing our public art scene is. I don't think I've seen anything in my travels in the last year and a half, well, in the last 6 months because we didn't travel before that, and I've only been in the position for 2 years, that rivals with our public art. We have Sculpture Milwaukee, just the murals that are going on. We are fantastic, so we embrace our origins, but we are also not afraid to be innovative and different.
Well, you can judge the wellness, I suppose, of a society by the amount of dedication they have to art. Whether that's going to be in a performance art, whether it's going to be in a static piece that's somewhere, the art museum, musicians, whatever the case might be. And pound for pound, we have a lot going on here that I think, unfortunately, a lot of the country doesn't quite appreciate what we have. And it is like, once you come here, you're smitten, right?
Oh my goodness, so much. You know, so I've been involved with the United Performing Arts Funds for Performing Arts Fund for most of my career. So I'm familiar with just how much the arts lend to our community and how they give back. So not just by giving you the gift of a beautiful performance, but also by what they do to make sure that they're educating people across our community. And we are just so fortunate. The venues we have, the people who run those venues, how much they care about what happens in this city, in this community, in this region is unrivaled throughout the country.
So, Peggy, I have to ask you, the DNC was slated to be here last year. Great expectations, and we had just an infusion of new hotels and new developments taking place for that. Obviously, that didn't come to fruition because of the pandemic. But we've got these great hotels now. What are we going to do to bring more people in to experience what the city has? Because that was a knock for the longest time. We just didn't have enough hotel space. Now we have hotel space, right?
Correct. And we're getting a convention center expansion, which
wow.
is really what we needed.
Excellent.
So that is slated to break ground at the end of this year, and it's slated to be completed in the first quarter of 2022.
Good to hear. Fantastic.
We are currently working on a plan to really bring more meetings and conventions into the city. And we're doing that a number of different ways and innovative ways that we've never done before. So I was just last week in Tampa Bay for an industry convention. We had over 800 meeting planners there. We had 10 people from the city of Milwaukee, including hotel partners, that came with us down there. They had over 120 appointments with 120 different meeting planners about potential events that they could bring back to our city.
Oh my.
And then we had the opportunity to have 5 minutes on the stage. And instead of me just getting up and talking about statistics that Milwaukee has to offer, we engaged DJ Shauna from the Milwaukee Bucks. And we brought her down there, and she, with a video backdrop, got on stage and talked about how dynamic Milwaukee is. And I have to tell you, we turned all the lights down, we gave everyone green glow sticks. I introduced DJ Shauna as the one and only DJ, official DJ of the 2021 NBA Championship Milwaukee Bucks, and the crowd went wild. They had never seen a presentation like we gave. That's the way we're thinking at Visit Milwaukee. We're thinking outside of the box. How can we make sure to highlight the unique things that Milwaukee has to offer, and doing it in a unique way that sets us apart from our competitor cities?
I'm thrilled to hear that, because when I first got started here at Shakers, at least, Dave Nolan was the head of the GMCBB, Greater Milwaukee Convention and Visitors Bureau, which now has morphed into Visit. And he had a lot of outside-the-box ideas and concepts as well. And starting out, I really appreciated the value he had to us. And then it seems we had several directors that were maybe a little more textbook and laid-back kind of a thing. And I'm glad to see that you got this new vitality and you're coming forward, and it's going to be a better day for all of us because of that. So kudos.
Well, thank you very much. We are, again, the team is just, they're young, they're excited, they love Milwaukee. They want to do things that show how proud Milwaukeeans can be of their own city. And finding different and innovative ways to show and to convey that to people is part of the way that they all think. And, you know, when I'm looking for someone to hire, I'm looking for someone who has a natural curiosity, because the only way you can innovate is to be curious and to take risks. So I know there's going to be times that we're going to fail and we're not going to be able to get the group, or we're not going to be able to close the deal. But I'm okay with that as long as we're consistently trying.
Well, if you don't move ahead, if you don't change, then you're just going to become stagnant and then you die, right?
Correct. Yes,
and whether
exactly.
it's a person or a city or anything else or the style of art you do, you have to move forward. You have to matriculate. I'm really happy to see that as well. If you could change anything right now about the dynamic of the city of Milwaukee, what would that be? Aside from the pandemic.
Well, that would be the number one thing. I think that's across the world. I mean, there's so many different things right now, and these issues are happening across the country. They're not just happening here in the city.
Right.
You know, obviously we have a problem with segregation, and we know that. And part of what a destination marketing organization's job is to do is to make sure that the community is healthy. And if that happens, then it's easier to promote the city for people to come and visit it. So we spend a great deal of time involved with organizations, using my team to make sure that we're helping to be part of the solution. Right now there's a problem with reckless driving and crime, and we need to be able to figure that out. So, you know, not everything is perfect, but like I said, that's happening everywhere. And we just need to make sure that we're not sweeping it under the rug, that we're addressing it and finding ways to make it better. I do feel that, you know, part of my job is to have constant interactions with city leaders, with our acting police chief, who knows how important safety is to our city and is working hard to ensure that he tries to make it the safest city possible. The same with the fire chief.
Well, using my crystal ball, I will say this about local politics. And for whatever reason, we have had a disproportionate number of people in the last 2 weeks come to me and ask me what they should do to run for mayor. It seems fairly simple. You know, you like anything else I do for a business plan, you get yourself a piece of paper and you do a diagram. Here's Milwaukee. Here are the faults that you think are taking place. Here are the things that you want to make a change. Never mention this to the media. Focus on these. Break these down. And amongst those things, you have to find coalitions in different places. So whether that's a coalition with the Hispanic community, the Asian community, the Black community, you have to have people that are there that you can actually pick up the horn, or you can go down to the office and talk to them and find out what's going on and find a way to address the issues that they have. Now, that being said, I think that once our new mayor, and we are getting a new mayor.
We are.
And at the moment, it looks like Chevy Cavalier Johnson is the front runner, president of the Common Council, and he is well aware of all the issues taking place as a long-term alderman in the city of Milwaukee. And there are a few others as well that also have some big ideas that can address those issues and bring a change. And we need that change. And I think that we're headed, no matter who takes that job, I think we're headed in a better direction because people aren't aware. They can see the issues that need to be addressed. And once you see something and you can address that issue, you can make a change to that issue. So I think that that'll take some of the onus off you as well. Once we can get a handle on that, it makes it even easier for you as the cheerleader to bring more people here.
Absolutely. You know, I do think that as the city moves forward and evolves, and, you know, I didn't have much to do with politics in my previous job. I spent 23 years with Marcus Hotels and Resorts, managing hotels, managing food and beverage, managing events.
Sure. Great company, by the way.
Thank you. It is. I never had to deal as much with politics as I do now. And again, I don't think it's a problem. It's an issue that is just Milwaukee. It's everywhere because it's so divisive right now, and it's so hard to get any solutions or make any real change because no matter what, someone's looking at the other side.
Oh yes.
And I just hope, for the sake of the world, for the sake of our children, that somehow something changes, you know, that allows us to come together again. You know, I've been reflecting a lot this week because it's the 20th anniversary of September 11th and the attacks on the World Trade Center, the Pentagon. And it is amazing to me to remember back 20 years ago how all Americans came back together after that. And we had one voice. And that one voice was, we will rise, we will come through this, we will do it together. And I'm not saying that anything like that, like I would wish anything like that to happen, because we're currently fighting some other type of war against this insidious virus, yet we're not finding ways to come together. We're finding ways to just argue with each other. It's you know, if I had the answers, I'd be rich, I'd be, you know, I don't, but just thinking about it just gives me a headache. How do we get past this? How do we make sure that people talk to each other like human beings and remember that the most important thing is to be kind?
I could not say that better. And I think that one of the changes taking place, both locally, regionally, and nationally, is that we will have a series of candidates that will become more statesman-like, though not statesmen, but people more willing to reach across the aisle to bring us together. And that's what we need so much, because we are so disparate right now. And that makes the job easier for absolutely every one of us.
It does. It does.
So we talked about some things taking place here. You've got a new convention center annex coming on. Obviously, you've got the hotels that are in place. That art museum continues to bring throngs of people from everywhere. It's oh my God, that's fantastic. Is there anything you don't like about Milwaukee that you would change?
Well, I think that we need more public transportation to attract those younger travelers. When we look at meetings and conventions, they're also looking for more of that public transit. They're not driving here right now in the short term because of the pandemic. We are attracting more of a leisure travel from a 6-hour drive market. But, you know, moving forward, we do need to focus on public transportation. We need to focus on bike trails. We need to focus on all of those things that will make us more attractive to that younger traveler.
The quality of life issues.
Exactly.
And you have this great park system here as well.
We have the best parks
in the country.
I have to tell you, we just had our golf outing for Visit Milwaukee at Brown Deer.
What a great course.
Oh my goodness. It rivals. So my husband is a very good golfer, and he golfed in the outing because he's the general manager of a hotel. And he said, I can't believe what good shape this is in, because he used to golf there all the time. It rivals any private club in our area. It was absolutely amazing. We had food afterwards. The food that was provided was fantastic. So our parks are traveling beer gardens. I don't think there's anything like it anywhere else. They're just a huge, everything parks. We need to be able to support our parks.
Yes.
We need to implement the 1% tax increase so that we can continue to
I agree.
help
Nobody
with some
likes
of
more
these things.
taxes, but I do agree. There's some things
We're
that,
one of the
that
lowest
need the
in
attention.
our peer comp set.
Yes, absolutely. The breweries. What's going on with breweries in Milwaukee?
Well, we're experiencing a renaissance, and actually, good thing you asked me this question. We're launching our beer pass next week. We've partnered with a lot of our local breweries, and we are going to, you're going to be able to download an app and get 2 for 1 at many of your favorite breweries throughout the city. We are still a beer capital. We will continue to market ourselves that way because beer is incredibly important and hot right now. Like people like to come somewhere and taste local brews. So I think that will continue for the city. I think we have 35 breweries right now, and that number continues to grow. Fantastic. Well, Shakers, of course, was formerly a cooperage house for Schlitz, so we too have a connection with that. That's wonderful. And the Ryder Cup is coming up. It is. A big thing from you. So we have a few big events that are happening. So we had the hometown rally last weekend, which brought all of our friends from Harley Davidson into the city. And they were downtown. They were out of the dealerships. We have Summerfest for the next 3 weekends, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I mean, we're one of the few music festivals that is going on, which is amazing. They are doing amazing things. They have some great acts. I was at Styx on Saturday night to a sold-out crowd. It was incredible. Then we have the Ryder Cup coming at the end of September, which is going to bring thousands upon thousands of people into the city of Milwaukee because they don't have enough hotel rooms up there. So that's going to be a huge boon for our bar and restaurant industry. Then that follows with the Society of American Travel Writers. 250 travel writers from all over the country are coming to Milwaukee. Previous places that this has been held are Wangshu, China. It's been held in Barbados, and now it's being held in Milwaukee. And this will create content for travel writers to write stories about Milwaukee for years to come. Fantastic. So we're super excited about that. That's 4 days at the beginning of October. And then we're going to go into playoff baseball. And let's hope that baseball brings the same kind of luck that basketball did into October. I mean, what can we say? I mean, Visit Milwaukee has nothing to do with it, but we're certainly going to glide off the success of our pro sports teams. Absolutely. What a year it's been with the Bucks as well, so fantastic.
Peggy, I've enjoyed thoroughly you coming by. I appreciate your time. I know how busy you are. I look forward to seeing you another time. Perhaps you can catch up and see how things are in a couple of months.
Maybe I will. That sounds like a great idea.
Excellent.
Come in for some meatballs?
Whenever you want them, of course. Peggy, thank you very much for being here. Folks, for those of you at home, I appreciate the fact you took the time to watch this. If you have any questions, you can send an email to shakersmilwaukee@gmail.com. And most importantly, as you go through your day, be good to yourselves, be good to the people around you and those that you love. Cheers.